Okay, hello, greetings, and welcome to Destiny and Dice, an Eberron live stream. This is our second episode, and it is being recorded due to the Thanksgiving holiday this week. Also, speaking of which, our third episode the following week will be recorded due to the needs of our team. However, after that, we should be back to our normally scheduled live stream. Not too many announcements this week, so I'm just going to go right into it. When last we met, the Shadow Slayers, orphans raised together in a family, had recently reunited after being apart for almost 6 years. They'd come together in hopes of easy work, good coin, and a chance to hang out with one another. Their plans were quickly derailed by a whirlwind of adventure, including Warforged assault teams, Forgotten Cannith strongholds, Emerald Claw militants, strange travelers from distant realms, horrifying creatures, crazy arcane weather patterns, and an ancient secret that could tip the balance of power throughout Corvair. Having discovered the first of 4 schema pieces of a pattern leading to an arcane engine known as the Dragon Forge, the Shadow Slayers set off for the Mornland, a wasted and desolate area that was ground zero for a cataclysmic event responsible for the tenuous peace amongst the nations of Corvair. In the Mornland, the Shadow Slayers discovered that healing within its borders scales from not possible to life-threatening. The Shadow Slayers now find themselves in an abandoned Cannith facility. Entry into this facility was through a cavern under a trapped door that was identical to 3 other trapdoors. They did, however, manage to find the correct one, come down, enter into a spherical room upon which there was a pedestal with lights and arcane locks. Considering the key charm that they had acquired from Lady de Cannith, or sorry, I keep saying that wrong, their contact in House Cannith who put them on this original quest, they were able to enter the first of a series of rooms, this one being a bookkeeping office, where they found nothing of use, or, well, what would initially be nothing of use, though historically a treasure trove. They did, however, manage to find an ornate scroll of protection of some kind. They also managed to find a Cannith signet ring, which once again gave them access to the magical journal that they had led them thus far. After that, they stepped out of that room, went to the next key gem, and encountered a hallway full of specters, which proceeded to attack the party. Having dealt with them fairly quickly, the party had moved on through the hallways and encountered what seemed to be a bathroom area, finding more corpses that had yet to decompose and were somehow preserved. During the encounter with the specters, they noticed another ghost had poked its head out of a room, and upon finally getting it to emerge and talk with them, that ghost temporarily possessed Zanim, our half-orc House of Finding wizard, and shared with her some memories, quick flashes of what the ghost could remember at the time when she became a ghost. That the spectral body did float back into the room in an almost crawling, unconscious fashion, leaving Z feeling like a train wreck. The Shadow Slayers took this time to kind of enter the baths that were there, get cleaned up, get calmed down, find a moment to bring them back to their, almost to a level of humanity, like, let's get clean. Clean is good. And now we find them sitting in either outside of the water drying off, wandering the hallways, or in Jalira's case, looking hard at the door through which the ghost is found. Shadow Slayers, what would you like to do now?
Is this after the time that I was going to spend to do Rix's hair after he got a bath separate from everyone else?
When last I left you, you were exploring a door?
Yes.
Let's pull that map back up so you guys can kind of get an idea of where you were previously.
Yeah, she was just looking at the doors. And
so as far as I know, you have not had time to sit down and do Rix's hair.
Okay.
If we've taken some time to chill, does Z still feel like a train wreck? Like physically.
After having soaked in the bathtub for a while, gotten clean with some of the chemicals that were brought over to you, and by chemicals I mean bathing solutions, you seem to have kind of regained and that between that and the good berry that you ate, you seem to kind of have regained your normal semblance, if not your health.
All of it?
No, she's not gained her health.
Bruce has basically just been chilling out, making sure Zaneem's okay for the last
It
little
looks
while.
looks like he's sitting on the edge of the pool there, kicking his feet in.
Basically.
Okay.
I mean, even though she feels better, Z's still gonna be like floating in the middle of the pool, like.
Zaneem is happily reclined floating. Bruce is watching after her. Rix, what are you up to right now?
Rex is waiting for Zaneem to finish in the bath so he can take a bath.
He's gonna
Has Rix just been like sitting in the corner there, like watching them the whole time?
No. He's just kind of like keeping his mind like kind of occupied, looking over, doing inventory about stuff he has. You know, and was it Kizra was very kind and did a lot of prestidigitation on his clothing and stuff, but he would like to actually get like an actual bath in there too at some point. So,
Well, speaking from Zaneem's perspective, if somebody doesn't tell her to get out so that Rix can, you know, do the thing that Rix wants to do, it's not gonna happen.
At some point, he's gonna be like, hey, are you almost done, Zaneem?
Sure.
Yeah, we probably
At
should
which
get
point
moving.
she
We
would
can't
get out,
really...
prestidigitate herself dry, put her clothes back on.
Yeah, we probably should get moving. We can't really stay here forever.
Yeah, I just need a quick wash. That's all.
Oh, then why don't you get in?
I'd like to do that by myself, please.
Sure.
Like look back and forth at like the open room, the lack of a dividing thing over here. Sure.
Thank you. Wait.
Yes. Guar, I guess we should go.
What?
Or get out.
Why are you guys all leaving?
Rix wants to take a bath all by himself.
I'll prestidigitate Guara dry.
Rix is just in there waiting.
Is he gonna shut the door behind the rest of us?
There is no door, but he's going to very gently wait until you guys are out of the room.
So Bruce is gonna kind of look over at Rix, kind of like almost study him for a second, reach over and like pat him on the shoulder gently, and then he's gonna cast Fog Cloud.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "Thank you."
I was thinking of a magical tinkering option
Alright.
I might have.
Rix is going to disrobe and splish splash. He's going to take a bath.
Taking a bath. Ba-da-da-da. Who knows what day of the week it is, though?
Roll me a bathing check? I'm kidding.
Okay.
Dexterity?
So Bruce has a thought. Because they looked at some of the paperwork upstairs earlier about, or not upstairs, in the other room, right? And we talked about, they had found entries about waste being removed, but the waste wasn't biological waste, like from a bathroom, right?
Did the
I don't
chamber
think
pots
it
all
says.
look
I think it
clean?
just talks about waste.
Mike?
No waste was actually specified.
Okay.
So
Did the chamber pots have doo-doo in them?
So yeah,
Especially-
long story short, Bruce is gonna go check to see if the chamber pots clean themselves.
okay.
Wrong thing. Can I grab my character? No, I can just grab the fog cloud. Anyways, Bruce is gonna head down to
10-year-old doo-doo.
Like down there. Gonna go check
Yep.
out some chamber pots. Okay, cool.
He's gonna go see if the chamber pots are self-cleaning.
Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. Kizra, what did you say you were doing?
She's mostly just keeping guard, but she's getting anxious. She wants to open the doors, but she's letting Jalira and Nyx kind of make that call. So she's just kind of watching, waiting for ghosts.
Okay.
Uh,
Next, what are you doing? You seem to be standing next to a door. Did you study that door?
She was studying the door and listening at it. You said that she couldn't find a lock mechanism on either door.
Nope.
But she's not gonna do anything. She's mostly distracted, considering certain things.
Okay. Okay. So that leaves me with Jalira. What are you doing?
She's trying to think of. She wants to talk to the ghost. She wants to try and reassure her. Maybe even start a camaraderie, but she's feeling very self-conscious about actually doing that with everybody else around. So she's just trying to think of something to say. So she's just looking very ponderous while sitting next to this door.
Okay. Thinking of something to say. Roll me a persuasion check using intelligence. As you kind of said, I'm thinking about something to say. So you're trying to formulate what would be the best words in your head. That would not be using your force of personality. You're thinking, what would be the best things I can say to a ghost? So you're probably going through some technical aspects of, well, what should ghosts be able to understand? So I want you to roll a persuasion check using your intelligence bonus versus your charisma bonus.
Okay, I'm gonna sound stupid, but I'm not sure how to do that. My persuasion.
Hard roll a d20 through roll 20, and then add with your modifier added.
Okay, I do have proficiency in persuasion for some reason.
If you have proficiency, then you can add that as well.
So you add your
persuasion,
proficiency,
no, not intelligence.
intelligence, and a d20.
All right, so 4 plus 3 plus 3.
6, 10. 10's not a bad number for, thinking kind of how you should do it. You're fairly sure you've got a decent kind of thought pattern in your head. So go ahead now, roll me a regular persuasion check as you begin speaking to this ghost. And then tell me what it is you're saying.
Just like a little knock. I can't imagine what you're going through. All I can say is we're here to help. We only want what's best for the world. We would love to talk with you. If
Okay. Bruce, roll me an investigation. Actually,
do I have to investigate these? I'm just gonna go for the one that the guy was sitting on, push him off again, and look inside it.
I don't know.
you find nothing there.
All right, I'm gonna head over to the one where the person had gotten off it, which means they had recently used it, and I'm gonna check there.
Okay. Nothing seems to be there. I just like making you roll investigation checks because it's fun. I could make you roll perception checks.
I mean, does it smell like anything like dried up a long time ago, or do they seem clean?
They seem clean.
It's 30 years ago. I mean, okay,
I thought it was.
there's no natural decay, but
Bruce is gonna use one of the chamber pots.
Okay.
are there s-
Which chamber pot are you using?
Probably the one he's standing in front of, so the one with the body off to the side.
The one with the body off to the side? Okay, so I'm just gonna drop you in there and
This is important, y'all.
Science.
Oh,
So
this
what
is.
degree are you using this chamber pot?
To the second degree.
Like,
He's
are we
just
going
using the
with the
chamber pot, Mike.
Okay.
How detailed do you want this, Mike? Is this important to the plot?
Well, when the thing comes up out of it, I want to know what you're doing now.
Okay, that's fair.
Are you sitting or are you standing? That's a very different attack angle.
Bruce is standing currently.
He's a little bit more used to giving the.
This is the quality content that our
You relieve yourself into the chamber pot. The chamber pot sits for a minute. Then all of a sudden, you get this kind of poop of lemon-scented cleaner, and there's nothing in the chamber pot anymore.
Bruce's eyes get like just a little bit wider, and then Bruce is gonna collect all these chamber pots.
Okay, so they are built in stone.
They're built in?
Like they are built into the walls. Like imagine castles of old that used to have like essentially a flat bench that you sat on, like built into the stone, and they'd have a poop chute outside the castle, or they'd be set in like a kind of a wooden structure with a chamber pot underneath. These are actually built in and have been carved and built in as part of Whitehearth. They don't just pick up and move.
And Bruce is gonna try to pull it off.
Because you're just gonna take like this massive stone thing and pull it off. Okay, do me a favor, roll me a strength check.
Straight strength check.
Straight strength check.
We're gonna bring up the shard.
13.
13. Okay. You reach down, you kind of dig your fingers in, hold on, and go to lift, and you break a chunk of stone off in your right hand as you lift up, and you now have a piece of stone from the toilet there, about that big in your hand, as you kind of shattered it off the edge.
Bruce is gonna kick it.
You also start to smell, well, something unpleasant, as having ripped that piece up, you've broken the enchantment on the toilet itself.
Gonna kick it again.
Roll me an attack.
An unarmed strike, or
Yeah, unarmed strike.
yeah, I know. 22 for 4 bludgeoning.
You kick it with precision, like, meh! And you don't break your foot, kicking a solid stone thing. Anything else you'd like to do to this poor toilet?
No, Bruce will leave. He wanted to see if he can get some enchanted chamber pots for his ship.
Aw.
I mean, those would be pretty nice, not gonna lie. Like, those alone on the market would be worth something.
Yeah, they would have been, huh?
I mean, does House Gannett still have that patent?
Actually,
So Bruce is gonna head back to
Bruce,
the one.
do me a favor. Roll me because it's you and the research you've done. Roll me a history check.
Sure. 4.
Okay, never mind. Moving on.
Bruce is gonna head back, kind of walking blindly through the bath area.
Please tell me he trips and falls into the bathtub.
Really?
It's Rix.
Really, Z?
Bruce, can you make a dexterity saving throw for me?
Yeah, really.
Well, luckily I have danger sense.
It's good. It's good.
Does that work if I'm blind?
I don't know, does it?
I think
Am I technically blind, or can I just not see?
I think fog cloud.
It makes the area heavily obscured, but I don't know if it technically blinds me.
I don't think obscured equals blinding.
Yeah, I think darkness does the blinding.
So I think you'd have your danger sense there. Like, you know, having encountered recently, you know, about a month ago, walking through and tripping over words in the dirt, you're able to navigate safely through the bathroom without tripping into the water.
As he walks past, he's gonna be like, "Toilets still work."
Rix, having heard this crack sound, and then Bruce has kicked something. And toilet still work as he walks by.
Like, I can hear him walking by, but the fog cloud is still there.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Toilets work.
What did you? Was that loud noise? You using the toilet?
Huh?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. We're food. Yeah.
The one on the back left is broken.
Did you break it?
Yeah.
I gotta ask. How did you break it?
I kicked it.
Oh. Okay. Cool. All right.
Bruce is confused by this conversation.
Rix is happy that his poop didn't break the toilet.
I mean, as a spy, you hear things about half orcs and
You hear a lot of things. You hear a lot of things. None of those are all true. He just, they're in the more rations after a while. Start to do things to the system, right?
Okay.
An all berry and ration.
Good berry and rations.
Okay, everybody but Rick seems to have emerged from the bathroom. Has everybody gotten their clothes back on, gotten dressed, with the exception of Rick?
Yeah. I mean, my clothes are still wet in there, and I put on different clothes.
Okay.
I'm thinking Jalira might start telling the ghost their story.
Okay.
I mean, probably start simply like, I always wanted to go to a camp facility. I mean, I've been to some before, but like when we first started all of this, we got attacked by war forges who had attacked my best friend's professor, and then all this crazy stuff happened, and we found Blackhearth. Have you heard of Blackhearth? It was under Sharn.
No response.
But then people were all out to get us, so we had to leave Sharn, and I'd never left Sharn before. I don't know if you'd know what that's like. But the Warforges, the ones that were allied with the Lord of Blades, they kidnapped our father. He was a Warforge.
Well, when she starts going into the story, Nyx is gonna go into the fog cloud.
Okay.
Yeah. We're good. Just,
Have we checked this door?
I don't
not
think
locked.
we've checked that far door yet.
That's all
I'm
she
gonna
says.
scamper over excitedly because I want to
I want to go in the door.
want to do
Alright, while
something.
she's doing that, Bruce is gonna open the door to the next room.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Cora's gonna continue to be guarding Z.
And then after we got off the boat, everybody was a little mad at each other, but we eventually were able to talk through it. And
Totally avoiding hearing the story. Not gonna lie.
You're like 20 feet away in a fog cloud. I don't know if you're really
I
avoiding
know.
listening.
Why is that not releasing the layer?
I'm a Lightfoot halfling, so I'm gonna be like under your feet.
Can everybody see
Like
down
literally? Like he's like... What?
Well, like right under you, like a dog to the side, but it's a halfling.
Okay.
And then we got to this town of Warforges in Lyreton. They were really awesome. They were really sweet. And they're in danger now. I don't know if you know of a way that we can help them. But we had to leave. We had to come here because we gotta save the world.
Okay. So you continue telling the story as you're going. Bruce, you enter through that doorway. You find yourself in a hallway where you can see rooms to either side of you. There are 9 doors. You see a door here, a door here, a door here, a door here. There's a door directly in front of you. So essentially 4 off to the right, 4 down to the left, and 1 directly in front of you.
Is that a chandelier?
That is a chandelier, casting that same kind of half broken light. Like, it's not as bright. You guys know that these lights should be brighter. This whole place should be like super bright compared to what you see. But the power that, or the energy that powered these things, seems to have been broken on some level.
I mean, they've been running for 30. That's 30, right? 30 since the morning? Or is it 20 years since the morning?
20.
20.
Yeah, so they've been running on post-apocalyptic power. I'm impressed, but I'm not a magic person, so I'm a little bit.
That mark on your hand begs to differ.
Well, where were you for me 20 years ago, huh? I guess it's not actually on her hand anymore. It's up here now.
Yeah, it has migrated to her forearm.
Eventually, it'll just crawl up her arm and on her face.
It's going to start conflicting with her tattoos that are up here.
What rooms do you think are right next to the bathroom?
I guess the first one on the left?
No, I meant like, what would they put next to it? Like, what do you think this area is?
I would put storage. You wouldn't want to put somebody's bedroom next to the bathroom.
I mean, if you had to get up in the middle of the night.
Well, but wouldn't they probably still have to come around this way? I mean, who wants their room to back to the bathroom though?
Is there like any general aesthetic to this area? Does it look like a living quarter? Does it look like an office? Does it look like a...
The floorway's kept clean. There are the 5 rugs that you see there, the lanterns above. It's your best guess. Roll me a general intelligence check. Just a straight intelligence check.
Straight intelligence check.
Would you prefer wisdom?
5. Bruce doesn't work in an office.
Mm-hmm. Your best guess, just seeing how everything is kind of lined up, this is probably some kind of dormitory. Like, it feels cramped, like ship quarters. But, you know, if people were living here, being here, those rooms look, you know, they look like your best guess with the spacing on the doors. They could be quarters.
And it looks like we got like the living quarters down here. I guess Kiz and I can check them out if you guys just want to keep resting or talking to whatever that was.
It was a ghost.
Left or right?
So if you think our cause is okay, we'd love your help. But if not, I'll leave you alone. I would like to try the door real quick. If it's still locked, I would like to go join the others.
Define try the door.
Stick my hand and try and turn it.
As you touch the knob, you feel a slight rush of arcane energy, and almost as you try to turn the knob, you see essentially the frames start to thicken, as if the door is securing itself more.
Can I try the key? Just like see if...
As you put the key up to the brown holographic gemstone, nothing seems to happen.
We need to find the brown keys. Maybe it's like a level of security.
No, it's understandable.
I mean, should we just like push the doors open? I mean, we might find more bodies inside for the people that died during the cataclysm.
Zanine, what are you doing right now?
So she's sitting down, kind of like, she looks like she's just chilling out against a wall, but she's going over all of the images that the ghost put in her head again to see if she can figure out anything else. See if there's something there that she may have missed. I don't think she has any paper or pencil on her, like paper or pen at the moment, but given the next possible opportunity, she's going to want to write everything down. So that she doesn't forget, because study purposes, how cool is that? Now that she no longer feels like crap, she sees how cool it was to get those memories from somebody who lived it.
We did take some notes back at that first camp. I asked that battle. I asked you to take some notes with me. Do you think we still have that information? That booklet or whatever we used for that?
Yeah, that would be great. Zoo would love to write in there.
I'd get it out of my bag of holding for you, but I'm stuck on a wall.
Yeah, and Z hasn't told anybody what she's doing. She's just sitting there, like, taking it apart mentally, because research!
Go ahead and roll me a investigation check.
Didn't mean to roll it twice, but woohoo!
You're kind of combing over those memories, looking back, thinking back, trying to recall them. You do gain a flash of insight.
Okay.
You remember seeing a piece of parchment. On the parchment was a date. The date was the 1st of Olaroon, 994.
How do I spell Olaroon?
I'm going to put it in the chat box in just a second. Making sure I spell it correctly, too.
Are you in the Discord chat or the Roll20 chat? Okay.
Roll20 chat.
What does the YK stand for?
You'd think I would know that.
It's their reckoning.
Okay.
It's like
kind of like BC or AD.
BC for us, AD
Okay.
for us.
Okay.
BCE as it is now.
Okay.
Does that date have any significance?
That date is about 19 days before the morning.
Like I said, she's not gonna write right now, but she's gonna want to record everything as soon as she can.
She did see Nyx put a bunch of paper and quills and ink in her bag.
Nyx has about 500 sheets of paper and Quink and ills. Wow.
Could be
Ink
worse.
and quills.
Okay. Well, and Nebulon was just talking about the book where we were recording things before, so she's got plenty of places where she can write. She's just not telling anybody what she's doing. She looks like she's chilling in a corner, but she's doing mental stuff.
Going through her mind. Okay. Cool.
I'm in a fog cloud. We're good.
Me too.
Nyx, when you enter the fog cloud, do you do so stealthily or with obvious sound?
I am just like she would alert her brother that she's in there.
Okay.
But she's not gonna make extra noise or anything.
You kind of enter into the fog cloud. What is your goal in entering the bathroom area?
So she's kind of just looking for a place where she can just kind of center, quiet her mind, get over the whole initial thing, frustration about needing to be Kiana, or I don't know how. Kenta.
I was gonna say, I think that I always pronounce that Quinta. So
Quinta. Yeah, we'll go with that. Quinta. I forget what I said initially, so it's been too long.
Come up with names. I love it. Moving on.
Anyway, Quinta, she's basically kind of getting over the initial of that, and she's actually gonna try and get herself in the mindset of Quinta, and anyway, she is also going to ask her Mark, will this continue to be the mark of making if I become her?
Your mark leaves you with no response.
Okay. Kinda doesn't expect a response exactly. Not sure. It's who knows at this point. Anyway, so she is going to change her clothing, change into her, and since there's a fog cloud for a while, she actually is going to go down the hall and she's going to use the mirror to see if it worked back down there.
Which mirror are you planning on using? The
one
fog
from
over
her
one?
bag.
Oh, from her bag. Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna walk down the hall and
Gotcha. Okay.
probably see the broken toilet.
You pull out your side mirror. You look at it, and you can definitely see that you have taken on that guise.
And the mark.
The mark is currently masked as a mark of making.
So weird. She is gonna kind of like mentally apologize to Seek for blaming her in a way because she reacted poorly. So.
Okay.
And then go back to the corner. They're like, let me know when you want me to do your hair.
Rix, had some ample time to kind of get clean now. Anything you'd like to be doing?
He's going to kind of just sit. We're all in kind of a state of contemplation right now. So he's going to be kind of like, as he's bathing, he's just going to be kind of thinking about, because reflecting on past work and trying to figure out kind of like where he stands with himself, if that makes sense. The fact it's like he felt so like awkward. The idea of like, like being like, it's he can show his siblings his face, but it's like he's struggling still to kind of expose more of himself. Like taking off his armor would be something else that like would make him feel really uncomfortable. And he's kind of like contemplating. It's like, wow, man, like I can't believe like what's happened to me over these years. It's like, why am I struggling so much with this? Kind of thinking of that to himself. Kind of opening himself up, because this is his family, and he always imagined like everything he did was for them, but here he is struggling to like reveal parts of himself to them, both physically and emotionally, and yeah. it's kind of what he's thinking right now. And as he's finishing up, he's just like thinking to himself, like, unsure, like, of what's gonna, like, gets kind of future worry of what's gonna happen when they do reach a town, and he is unable to change and blend in. And you know, his family has been really readily accepting of him, but what about anywhere else? So he's getting out of the bath, he's getting dressed and changing, getting his armor back on.
You're kind of getting that last piece of armor on as you hear Nyx, who's walked by you a couple of times back and forth.
Yeah.
Is now just, hey, tell me when you want me to do your hair.
Yeah, I'm almost ready. Just actually, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good to go, actually. Let's, I guess, get out of this cloud. And
Is there anything specific you're looking to get out of it? Mentioning braids?
Yeah, just something to get it out of my face, preferably. And that's not going to fall out easily.
I did have some thoughts.
Okay. What were you thinking?
Like, I don't know. I might have looked up some hairstyles for males. Long hairstyles for males.
Okay.
Let me think of.
Okay. Kind of like, it's like,
you kind of sit down and kind of start discussing hairstyles with her. Bruce, kids.
Sovereign Relu, and do horns.
Yeah. Only I need a wish to get those out. Literal spell wish.
Why would you need to get them out? Do we see those things on the ground around us?
I marked those down so you guys would know where the doors were, in case you hadn't seen where I had marked the doors out.
Okay.
So those are all the locations of the doors.
Just wanted to make sure glowing things hadn't started appearing in front of all the doors.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Bruce, Kiz, you kind of walked into this. You kind of assessed it. Bruce, you're kind of sure it's living quarters. Kiz is like, who would put their bedrooms next to the bathroom? That's ridiculous. Cherry has kind of wandered in and is peeking around. What would you like to do right now?
I just want to take the lantern of revealing through the rooms and just to see what's worth seeing.
I'm gonna turn to the big. Hey guys, if the Emerald Claw really is behind us, I say we go through each of these rooms and collect all rings and keys we can.
Sure. Bruce is gonna open the door in front of him.
Okay.
I'll open the door in front of me.
Okay. Go to that correct layer and... Oops, wrong button. Select option.
I mean, while we're checking these rooms, is there anybody that needs to, like, rest for, like, an hour or so? Anyone that would get anything back from that?
No, I'm good.
Terry, are you picking a room and going in?
I haven't cast any spells.
Or health, or...
Bruce,
Did you use some help?
room, you see crates.
Okay. Do they have any markings on them, or?
Nothing that's apparent. Just stacks of crates.
Okay. Bruce is gonna try to open one.
Okay, you reach down, you open a crate. General supplies, you find a couple of more packaged up blankets, and pillows.
Bruce is gonna take a pillow, turn, and toss it down the hallway at Zanim.
Roll me a ranged attack.
Please net 20. Please net 20.
It was to her, not at her, but we'll see how this goes. I don't suppose Bruce has proficiency in pillows.
No, that is not a proficiency that we have discussed. If you'd like to, we can talk about it.
9.
You kind of look behind you, quick glance, toss it back there. It starts to fly nice, and it hits kind of the door jamb and stops right there. There's now a pillow just sitting in the hallway right here.
He'll toss another one.
Roll me another attack, please.
13.
13. That gets it through the doorway, and it kind of lands pretty much right in front of Z. Here comes a pillow.
I like how they're blocking line of sight.
Yeah, I'm on the wrong layer.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm really excited to find out eventually. I'm still hanging out.
Z would grab the pillow and curl up in the corner.
Okay. Z grabs the pillow. She say anything, or just grab the pillow and curl up in the corner?
She just grabs the pillow and curls up in the corner.
I wasn't expecting it, thank you.
There's now a pillow right there. Other than that, you've got supplies. You find, actually you find how many boxes are you gonna go through?
I mean, just a couple, unless it looks like there's anything interesting.
You find a couple of extra robes. They all seem pretty uniform. They've got the kind of nice, just plain blue color.
He's gonna toss one of those down the hall and be like, "Hey, Nix."
Bathrobe or like uniform robe?
Uniform clothes robe.
Okay.
Roll me a another attack.
This is what we're doing.
What are you
15.
doing in this room?
There's now a nice little kind of wad of robes right there. You managed to kind of like wad it up nice and tight so it doesn't flare out as it's flying through the air and stop midway. Poof, lands there right next to Guara. Guara's like, oh. Guara kind of starts sniffing at it and kind of digging at it a little bit. It's kind of balled up nicely, so she starts kind of batting at it a little bit.
Is there anything else worth noting, or?
You find a box of empty blank journal notebooks.
Hooray!
How big is this?
This box is only about that wide by about that high, so it's got in it thickness-wise, probably about 15 just blank journals that you find.
All right, Bruce will put the top back on and turn and throw that down the hall.
Someone's gonna get hit. It's probably gonna be Laura. Poor thing.
This one in more of like a slide. He's not just like chucking. He's more like tossing it so it'll slide.
Okay, so
Like, hey, Nick.
Make an attack without disadvantage at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no,
wouldn't it be really
it's just
heavy?
been rolling. It's just been rolling as if I have, because I'm rolling strength checks, so it's automatically assuming I'm raging. So I was just taking the first roll of each one.
Gotcha, the 9, the 13, 15. Okay, yeah, go ahead and do it again.
All right. You know what? He's gonna try to use his dexterity because he's not trying to huck it. He's trying to be. 6.
You kind of like you take a minute to actually kind of aim and you slide it across the floor. Like you got enough power behind it. It goes through your doorway, hits that rug that's there, starts to tip over, upend, and just kind of thud, and stops about here.
That's why
having opened it, it kind of like has now like having opened it before and put it back down. You kind of a couple of journals have kind of fallen out along the way now.
Yeah, they're fine.
Guara again showing interest at things coming through, moving around.
Then Bruce is gonna grab
So
another
if there's
pillow
a
and
bunch
just
of
like
journals,
ninja star right at her.
if there's a bunch of journals that just landed near Z, she's gonna pick one up and take a look, and then she's gonna be like, "Cool, thanks," and dig out a quill.
They didn't quite make it to you.
They're not far from you.
Well, she's heard all the ruckus. I mean, she may be curled up on a pillow, but she's gonna look around a little bit to be like, "What in the world?"
Okay, roll me an attack.
Oh, no.
Me?
Kiz, what's Guara's AC?
No.
You're throwing a book or the ninja star in a journal?
Pillow. He's ninja
A
starting
pillow. I grabbed another pillow and I'm turning it right at her. Hey, Guar!
Her AC is 15.
15.
Oh no. Okay. I thought you said attack, but okay.
It doesn't quite hit her.
I
So
don't know
much
for
as she, like,
efficiencies. I'm just
she kind of
choosing
sees
my
that you
strength.
You see her butt go up a little bit and her tail start to waggle a little bit, and she jumps into the air and grabs onto the pillow and just takes it down and starts.
There goes the pillow.
Just kind of looks up. She's got fluff dripping out of her mouth.
Can you
throw
guys hear
another
me
pillow.
now?
Yeah.
So this is what Bruce is going to do for the next 15 minutes.
Scar, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Kizriel, you enter what looks to be a bedroom. Bed is laid out there. There's a chest at the foot of the bed and a desk with, some notes on it. Behind you directly, I believe, is a wardrobe of some kind. Let me make sure I'm on the right layer so I can manipulate you. See? Right over here. Yeah, there is
looks like a wardrobe.
Yeah, there is a wardrobe right there.
My main goal will be looking for rings and keys. Other than that, anything of interest. I mean, part of me wants to tell these people's story, and part of me just wants to get whatever's useful and leave.
Okay. The wardrobe holds more robes like the one you like the ones Bruce had chucked down the hall. You haven't seen them yet, but it holds a couple of robes in there. Some shoes, some pants. Pretty standard offerings for a wardrobe. Nothing exotic or strange. Roll me an investigation check. Jalera, you go ahead and roll me one too, because you're kind of seeing very similar things.
I knew this was gonna be really good for me.
Lovely.
Oh no, you nat one.
And it was higher than yours.
Well, yeah.
Rip.
She got the intelligence.
Okay. So you both find not too much of interest in either of the rooms. Nothing seems to be standing out. Nothing seems to be drawing your attention. You don't find any keys or rings. From what you've seen, though, rings have been most often found, from what you've seen thus far, rings have been found on bodies, and you do not find any bodies in these rooms.
I'm gonna step out and be like, if anybody's in need of some fresh clothes, I don't think the previous owners would mind.
Need me.
Do they look
Maybe
comfortable?
They're just too dead to do anything about it.
So at this point, you're like, oh yeah. Nyx is like, I'm gonna cut over to Nyx and Rix now. Nyx is all like, yeah, I thought about this hairstyle. Crash! Is about when the box of journals kind of turns over and starts making a little bit more noise.
Rix is like, anyway, so I'm thinking maybe we could like shave the sides of my head, not like full mohawk, but like more like an undercut. Leave my hair kind of long at the top, so I can like still pull it back and kind of do stuff with it, and we can braid it like kind of like maybe like one of those braids that you do with the really cool. You like to pick, you do it really well. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe just shave it underneath. Try something different. Because all of this hair is really annoying. Like it's totally unfazed. He's like, nobody's screaming yet, so what's we're okay, right?
She's just like,
You
Then
see
you
any?
rip as Guara like
We
is
can't see anything. Your fog cloud is there. We're just talking.
I was gonna
You
say,
look
can you
down
even
your-
see the hand movements you're doing? You're like, you
Yeah.
shave it here.
Oh, like he's talking about, like he's doing the hand movements, but he's like undercut. She probably has a better idea of what has a good idea of what he's talking about, considering how much they change their appearance.
If you look over, you might see a jaguar's tail just like.
we
Would
can't
be-
see anything.
Into the fog.
Yeah,
How long
they
does the
are.
fog cloud last?
An hour.
Oh my word!
All right.
I was thinking it was just 10 minutes.
Rix is probably gonna also cut. Hey, Bruce. I'm done.
So at this point, as Kiz has stepped out and Rix yells that, Bruce dives out of the room to tackle Guara.
Roll me
Athletics.
athletics. Roll me a acrobatics check for Guara, or athletics, your choice.
Let me see what she's
I'm like
at.
chucking pillows at her, and then he just dives at her.
It doesn't really matter. She's got +2 to both dex and strength, and nothing
Okay.
special for that. I'll just do.
It's a 21.
He gets her. Like they are now officially roughhousing in pillow fluff on the floor.
So like how Guar had like gotten down with her butt in the air and her tail wiggling, Bruce had almost done the same thing and then dived out of the room at her.
Oh no.
Love it.
So they're just yeah.
They really needed this break.
They really did.
So he like looks up, he's like holding Guara's head up so she can't like bite at him, and he's like looking at Kiz. No, I don't need any clothes. And then he just like rolls.
It's like having two kitties.
So, I don't clip her nails. If you guys are gonna start wrestling, I think you're gonna take damage.
That pillow.
Rex is gonna be like,
Pillow fluff.
Bruce, you could take the fog out, please.
It's like
Perception
someone's-
check to see if he hears him.
I'm
Sure,
amused
well.
by this cloud here, and I'm just imagining the occasional green fist and
Yeah, no, you are
cat
in
paw
the
coming
fight.
out.
Roll me a
You just-
concentration check real quick.
I watched him do really well.
16.
No, you're good. You're good. You are in it with Guar's focus.
Rex just looks at he kind of looks around and thinks, says, we should go out. We'll talk about it out there. Yeah. All right, so they walk out.
And she's changed forms.
Yeah. Oh. And he kind of blinks at her. He's like, "Which one is this one?"
Kina. Sorry.
Kinta.
Quinta.
Okay.
She's
Quinta. Quinta's.
from
Human?
New Sire. Mm-hmm.
Alright.
We'll just say that she's from Sire, and you guys are escorting her.
All right.
I need to figure out what.
There is that still parcel of robes on the floor as you walk out of the fog cloud. You find a ball of robes just kind of wadded up and laying there. A little bit of jaguar drool, not a lot.
So, just looking around.
You kind of look down the hallway, you see a crate of what look like books that have been toppled over, and then you see Bruce and Guara covered in pillow fluff wrestling on in the center of the hallway.
Bruce is winning.
Rex is just like,
Kizria, would you like to roll a break the grapple check for Guara?
Is that a strength?
Bruce, you can oppose it.
I'll just do strength.
Oh, okay.
"Oh no!"
Okay, she's rabbit kicking, yeah. I don't know if jaguars do that, but I'm imagining they do.
Do you have advantage on athletics?
No, so I'm always taking the first one. So 16,
gotcha.
she breaks
Cool.
it.
You're just like, and she manages to get herself free from you for a minute. And then, does Guara want to initiate a grapple right now?
I would like her to back up 20 feet and then lunge forward for 20 feet.
Yes. Pounce him.
20, okay. And then
What can I do it says I need to make a claw attack. Is there any way I can make sure she doesn't do any damage with the claw attack? Like, the claws aren't down, she does it just pads.
you can make a just make the attack as you would. We'll just say that you're not trying to do damage.
Can Bruce take the dodge action?
Okay, the DC 12 is for the pounce. You'll probably make it.
And 11.
Well,
Wouldn't
Bruce,
hit.
actually, Bruce is prone because he's on the floor. So could you go ahead and make that with advantage?
Just roll it again. What was the claw attack?
10. Yeah, no. So 11. That's not gonna beat Bruce's AC. So I don't think he has to then make the strength check.
So
Bruce just kind of like ducks out of the way, and Guara just poof in the pillow fluff, and it just kind of floats up in the air, obscuring sight, almost as good as his fog cloud does, as it just kind of starts to fall.
she does a little sneeze and then the fluff.
Go ahead and get started. Nyx goes over to Rix.
Yeah. He's gonna decides her moves his hair out of the way so she can start to cut his hair.
I'll watch
Use
for a
the
little
dagger.
bit because it's adorable.
Then Bruce is gonna try to grab her again.
Okay, go ahead. New grapple check.
I don't clip her nails. Just be careful.
So no, actually that would have been that would have been the same. It's 14.
Children, be safe.
I mean, she tore up Salmac once doing that pretty bad.
Zalmac was a lesser half orc. I mean, sorry, what?
I mean,
And Bruce thought that, but he didn't say anything.
Occasionally, Bruce's subconscious speaks without you actually speaking for him. Okay, roll me that counter acrobatics or athletics check for Guara.
No. Oh, he got her.
Oh yeah, no, she's down.
So Bruce moves out of the way when she dives into the thing and sneezes, and as she sneezes, he just jumps up and lands on top of her.
Beautiful. Okay, Cherry, Kiz, are you moving to other rooms?
I got distracted. It was adorable.
Okay, so Cherry, are you moving to other rooms, or are you also distracted?
I would like to go hang out next to Zanim and start a detect magic ritual, and then eventually come back and do the check all these, poke my head in all these rooms with the detect magic going.
So far, we've checked this room and this room, right? I will
Yeah.
check this room after a moment.
Leave your lantern.
Huh?
Do you leave your lantern there, or do you bring it with you?
I was gonna leave it just somewhere prominent around everybody else so they can snag it if they need it.
Yeah,
And
your best
so
bet is
nothing's
probably out there.
and so nothing invisible can sneak up on us either.
Ah, freaking Melody.
Hey,
What? Bards have invisibility? Huh? What?
hey, see? Would it bug you if I did the ritual?
Go for it.
Okay.
You sit down, start doing the ritual. Z, in your ritual book, do you have detect magic?
We never did coordinate a way to share our spells.
I don't think so. I think I've looked recently and I don't have detect magic, I have identify.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to try to trade.
Roll me a perception check.
We were gonna try and trade when you explained to us how to do it.
Well, you guys also have to sit down and have the time, which you pointed out. Jalira never has any time.
I don't have time. It's not about time.
Okay. So as you're
doing
kind
real
of
good.
like, you kind of look over here, looking at what she's doing, and your mind kind of flashes to another thing that you want to think about. So you kind of get a little distracted and aren't able to concentrate on her ritual. So you kind of watch her for a few seconds, like, oh, that's cool. That's not how I would start that ritual, but well, she's different. That's cool. That's cool. And you kind of get off track on your own tangent. Let's see. I don't know what kind of skill I want to give this. I'm assuming it's gonna be dexterity.
For the haircut?
For the haircut, yeah.
What? Yeah.
Let's see. I don't think you're proficient in hair tools, are you? Artisan tools. Hair.
I mean, she's proficient with a dagger, right?
Yeah, I'm proficient with the dagger. I'm proficient with the disguise kit. Does that count?
Oh, that's got to count, man.
I think that's enough to get you proficiency in this check. So go ahead and roll me a dexterity check with proficiency.
Please don't cut off Rix's ear.
Yay! 3 plus 3. Or 6 plus 3, you know?
Oh,
It's
awesome.
9. You know, lovely.
You added proficiency to that? Oh wow.
Adding proficiency takes it from a 6 to a 9.
Not your best hair job.
It's okay. He can just shift.
I mean, I'll whenever Bruce decides to, get rid of that fog cloud in the bathroom, I could probably use one of the mirrors there.
So Bruce has Guara on the ground under him, and he's kind of doing that thing where you like the cat's like ready to strike, and you keep like going kind of towards it. So it's like kind of batting at each other. And, oh hey, I found some journals.
Like, and it's like as you're kind of trimming up the hairline, you're like, journals? Look up, and there's a you kind of like a chunk of hair off. You're like, journals, yeah, and you kind of keep cutting. Didn't do that. Keep cutting. But more or less, you kind of you get the kind of image that Rix was going for as far as the shaving.
Yeah,
I mean, the dagger is not the best tool to be doing this with, but you're pretty confident in what you've got there. I mean, there's this point like back here in the back where you got a little bit higher into his hairline than you meant to, but it's all good.
Hair grows.
Nobody's really gonna see that, especially if he has his head up, right?
He's
Do
got
the
long
braid
hair.
back and cover it.
Yeah.
So Rick has his new haircut. About that time, I mean, Gora and Bruce, you're kind of starting to get tired after having wrestled for that long.
I'm gonna go ahead and check this room and this room. Just look for the things I was looking for before.
Do me a favor and give me an investigation check.
Can I go and start looking now, or am I still getting my head shaved?
This is like she's now kind of to the braiding your hair part to kind of cover up the shave part.
Okay.
Investigation check. Okay, let me alter layers here.
That was a nat 19. That's good for her.
Delete that. Hey, didn't delete.
It does something there, but I think they fixed it.
Going into that room, you search. You find in that room another blue key charm.
Everybody's gonna have one. The blue key charm is the key? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right.
The ones that you've found a couple
How many
of.
how many is that total?
I believe you guys are at 4 now. The original plus
Yeah, it
3.
should be a 4. Bruce found 2, you had 1, and then I think you just found another one.
Dope.
Just whatever we can get means one less for Campbell Claw.
Go ahead and roll me another investigation check for the other room.
Bruce kind of falls back in the thing of fluff, just kind of like petting Guar, trying to like calm her down. He's like, okay, you win. Okay. You win.
Okay.
Fog
Jalira.
cloud drops.
Yep. Jalira, your detect magic goes off. Or complete.
Excellent.
The ritual completes.
Okay. Hey, you good?
As you look up, magic is kind of interlaced everywhere around you.
I mean,
It's definitely
she's
something on the
expecting the
door.
entire bathroom to pretty much be glowy.
Well,
Yep,
there's
pretty much.
the door has a spell on it.
She'll just pause and appreciate. This is awesome.
Like the way it's patterned too, like your detect magic kind of directs it, but here as you kind of like focus on it, you can see that everything here does not have the arcane power that it should. You can kind of immediately detect that, but you see that it still has power, and the way that it's been woven into things is really well done. Like the artistry in weaving the spells that were woven here is really impressive.
I wish they'd hire me. Or at least stop being buttheads.
Luck with that.
Kenneth. Okay. I got detect magic. I'm gonna go check the rooms, guys.
As you walk by the lamps and look a little bit closer to the lamps, you see that the enchantments involved in them seem broken, almost.
Okay, I thought you were saying my lamp. I'm like, what?
No.
I did a perfectly good job. Okay.
No.
Does it look like I could possibly fix them? I mean, I'm not an enchanter, but...
Roll me an Arcana check.
Your artifacts, you're the definition of an enchanter.
You're not
been-
sure.
I also don't have proficiency in Arcana, so... Okay.
The
Can
artificers get the spell Continual Flame, correct?
Sounds familiar. I don't...
What level is it?
Yeah, I do. I guess it's not one I ever think about. Actually,
It does have a heavy component cost, so.
oh yeah, ruby dust, 50 gold. So yeah, it's one of those I don't consider because I'm poor. She is poor.
But you can tell that that's kind of the basis of the enchantment on all of the lamps that you kind of walk by.
Oh, neat. I recognize that spell matrix.
But again, pieces seem to have been broken or torn off or chunked out. You're not entirely sure what's going on.
As if intentional damage or just somehow wear and decay degradation of the spell. Or even environmental damage.
Roll me an investigation check.
Oh, got the earrings.
Ooh.
Okay. Think electrical surge.
Ah.
Something puts so much power into these lamps that it burned it out.
I'm impressed that they are still working.
Yeah.
I wonder the bathroom was so clean.
But you can kind of see where like everything was like overpowered to a point where it broke some of the initial enchantment.
Yeah, I paused for a little bit, just taking that all in, and just the implications.
Considering what the ghost told us.
Anything magic glowy in here?
Nope. Other than the lamp that it's itself. The bed seems to have something on it too, and all of the beds appear to be freshly made.
Oh.
Oh, I need that.
Anything in this room?
You
You checked this room, right, Kiz?
Yeah, I looked in.
Anything magical in any of those 4 rooms?
Okay. Did you do an investigation? I'm not clear if anyone did an investigation in this room. I saw Kiz go into that one. Can I just investigate this one real quick?
Yeah, I went into this one.
You may.
Thank you.
I got a 13 in that one. I don't think it was enough to get anything interesting.
Yes,
Well, you should check out the storage room.
it looks exactly like that other room. Oh, you got that room? Okay, then I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fairly sure the uniformity of these rooms was.
I'm gonna poke my head in just real quick for magic.
Nothing seems to glow.
Except for beds and lamps. Anything in here? And while I'm at it, just investigate.
Is Gora in here somewhere?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay, I don't see her. Oh, wait, why's she over there? Sorry.
She should be right here on top of Bruce.
Yeah.
I saw her over here.
Yeah, me too. Interesting.
Just on top of
roll
Bruce.
20 being silly. You still love roll 20.
I come over and give Gora some scratches.
Yeah, like, Bruce is like lying on his back with Gora on top of him, like scratching her head.
You should give him some scratches too.
I'll give Bruce some scratches too.
He looks confused for half a second and then shrugs and takes it. He starts purring.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Did you roll an investigation check for the storage room?
Oh no, I did not. Sorry.
There's
Hopefully
just
it's gonna
like
be like,
pillows and stuff in there. Well, there were pillows.
hey, how many of those pillows and blankets can you stuff in your bag of holding?
Not many
Go ahead and just
pillows.
take it off, and it's a big one. It's bigger than the homemade one.
I grab some blankets, extra blankets, and throw them in the bag of holding.
Okay.
All right.
How many do you want to grab?
How many are there of us? 7.
7 extra
How many
blankets?
pillows?
There are now 2 pillows left.
No, I was just gonna grab blankets. I wasn't gonna grab pillows.
All right, so 7 blankets.
I don't really use pillows. I use Gora.
It's about this time that your hair is all finished, you're all done, Nyx and Rix.
Just gonna look at the robes.
Rix is going to kind of move forward and start looking around to see what they are looking at because he's curious.
And she would like to check out these other rooms before her spell dissipates.
Okay.
Bruce, lying there on the ground, looks up as Rex walks by. Very nice hair.
Thanks.
That looks really fun.
Rubs his head. I was always kind of a blank slate, so figured this was something different.
Looks good.
Thank you. What'd you guys find over here? I think Bruce has thrown most of it into the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Do we want to rest?
Do we
Cherry, which room do you
resting
start?
help anybody?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know what taking a long rest would, a longer rest might do here.
I mean, it seems like it's acting the same way. Everything was upstairs. I don't think we really recovered much upstairs.
No.
I have 1 hit die left.
You want to recover a little bit?
Might be good.
Nyx does look a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, while we're looking at everything, why don't you rest a little bit?
Yeah, Brix points out. There's some beds over here if you want to lie down on one of them.
There's this pile of feathers, too, if you want.
Pile of feathers.
Cherry, in investigating that room, you don't seem to find anything.
There's also a box of journals you walk by.
Nice.
I assume Z,
I think-
Nyx are gonna grab some journals and we'll just stuff the rest in the back of hold.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and keep a journal.
He's on the bed.
And Nyx lays down. Cherry, you don't seem to find anything else in that room either.
Oh.
In that room, you find a body. Wearing the similar Kenneth robes that you've seen about on all the other bodies that you've encountered, and in the ball of stuff that he's thrown. Initial investigation doesn't reveal anything. However, detect magic does ping on something kind of in the folds of the robe.
Okay. Should I do a separate investigation for the clothes?
No, your detect magic kind of leads you right to it, and I'm including that 13 in it. You kind of dig, you pull out a red, a small vial filled with glowing red fluid that seems to have little floating flecks of white kind of in it.
Their bacteria growth.
I mean, I don't want to outright call it what looks like backwash, but it kind of looks a little bit like backwash in this potion.
I'll investigate that later.
Ew.
You're kind of looking at it, and then if it weren't for your detect magic, you don't think you would see the glowing. You don't think you would see the white flecks inside it, though.
Go backwash.
Backwash.
Alright, last one before my spell runs out.
Look cool.
You find another blue key charm.
Hey, does anyone not have a key charm yet?
I
Got
don't
one.
think I do.
Bruce is picking his teeth. I got one.
You would?
I have one.
Rix?
I don't think I did. but
I
no,
don't
he's
have
asleep.
one. But you could probably better. Oh, I don't know.
It
Do you
might
want
help
one,
you.
Nix? I
I give one to Rix so that they both can have one. I don't see you needed one.
Yeah. Could be useful.
I'm not usually the first through the doors person.
Picking locks. Picking a lock with a key. Who would have thought? Sorry.
Meanwhile,
Zaneem, roll me a perception check.
Hey, Mike, is my passive perception picking up anything? I'm just kidding. Don't actually.
nope. I think there's a wall in the way.
Stone.
Zaneem, as you're sitting there kind of focused, you feel a slight bit of cold sit down next to you.
So I don't actually see her. It's just a cold spot.
You do. You are kind of focused on your notes, kind of resting, either with your head kind of back. You just kind of feel the coldness sit next to you, and you look up, and you find that the ghost that had previously shared your body for a moment is sitting there next to you, kind of looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reaches out her hand and starts tracing your dragon mark on your chest.
Z's had that happen to her before. She knows where this is going.
Never with a ghost before.
The ghost has already been inside you.
First five for everything.
Okay.
Sorry.
Gosh,
Yeah, a way to make it awkward, Bruce. Anyway,
Trash. House of Finding.
yes. Why, yes, that is my house.
What are you finding here?
Hope.
That is in short supply here. The ghost seems a little more lucid than when you last encountered her.
Okay. Did you hear my amazing friend Cherry telling you our story?
I do believe I heard parts of it, yes.
The hope that we're looking for here.
The sound that comes through that door is limited due to the protections on it.
Okay. Well, sorry. She was trying to tell you our story and how we came to be here. And we're here looking for the schema to keep them out of the hands of the bad guys who want to build terrible things for the Warforge. And in the process, our hope is that we can rescue our father who they've kidnapped. And we know that the key to all that lies here in Whitehearth somewhere. We just don't know where or quite sure, and we're not quite sure how to get it. Do you know anything about the schema?
She takes a moment, takes a deep breath, and tries to kind of concentrate. And you see some of the old slight fear patterns that she had on her face when you originally brought it up outside the room the first time kind of cross her face. There's something here. I can't quite remember it. But it is probably a secret best left forgotten and unfound.
Is it safe enough here that no one else could come through and unleash evil upon the earth?
I don't think any place is that safe. This place not. The dwarf that was here, I'm sorry, I don't have a recollection of time that well. There was another short dwarf here, not too long ago. Haven't seen him for a while. Though he did have one of those filthy marks on him.
So Bruce is lying like 15, 20 feet away. Has he been listening to this?
Yeah.
By filthy mark, do you mean a
An aberrant dragon mark, yes.
Okay.
There's a dip in the temperature around Bruce.
I mean, he went off exploring. He found the last green key that was over here and proceeded down one of those passages. I didn't see which way he went.
Are there any brown keys over here?
Not that I'm aware of. The only brown keys were held by the Forge Master and myself.
Happened to the brown key that you had, or do you know?
Kind of looks down at herself. I would assume it's with my body.
And do you happen to know where that is? Kind of a labyrinth down here, which I know is very Caneth.
No, I don't recall. I remember waking up here, and that this seemed familiar, and I don't stray far from here. This is my room. As I think I was captain of the guards here. I don't remember.
If this was your room, is your body in there?
No, I would have seen it.
Is there anybody else in there with you, or are you all alone?
All alone. My room, no one else's. The spirits that were out here knew better than to enter.
The spirits that were out here.
Oh, I apologize for them. They have a nasty temper. They don't like new people entering their halls.
Well, when you have been guarding a place for many years, I can imagine not being thrilled with new people entering your halls.
And don't worry about them. They'll be back soon. They always seem to come back.
Soon as in we should get out of here, or we're gonna have another showdown, or soon as in this is still a safe place for us for a little while longer?
Yes?
Very helpful. So given that our task, our whole point and purpose here is to keep things out of the hands of bad people who are going to do bad things. Oh.
Tell me, what do you define as bad?
Well, I would think that some of those things that you showed me in your visions with the dragon's heads and...
See her head kind of like jar a little bit when you bring up those, and kind of resets and looks at you.
Those are the kinds of bad things that we are attempting to avert. Are you aware of what's happened in this land? Of the event known as the Morning?
I'm unfamiliar with that.
Not just Whitehearth, but this entire area. 20 years ago was wiped out.
Crestfallen ghost.
Nobody knows quite what did it, but based on the memories that you've shown me, I'm wondering if maybe Caneth had something to do with the death and destruction that is still taking place in this land.
Kind of now focused, like he's not looking at you anymore and just kind of looking down. and seems to be lost in thoughts back and forth.
I know that this is an awful lot to take in, but we are asking for your aid in our quest to prevent other such tragedies.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Not one of Z's specialties, but sure.
Would you roll it twice? Okay, I'll take the first number. You roll twice.
Aw, dang! Really? I didn't mean to roll it twice, but the second number's so much better.
So it's just kind of contemplate. I don't know, and just kind of fades back through the wall. And I think this is a great point, which we can take a break. So if anybody would like to run to the restroom real quick, grab a drink of water, we will be back in just a few moments, and we look forward to seeing you then.
Yep.
And we're back. Welcome back. Okay. When we left for a break, the ghost who had been in the room that they had been unable to gain entry to had just spent a moment talking to Zanim, who, unfortunately, rather bluntly, left upon the ghost's poor shoulders that, Kenneth had destroyed the world, and that everything that she knew and loved had been destroyed. So we're going to go back to that moment. However, Zanim is just kind of staring at the wall as the ghost is kind of sucked back in. Nyx is currently resting in a bed. Jalira, Kiz, Bruce, Rix, now that the ghost has disappeared, what are you guys doing?
I was on my way back, but I wasn't sure if I stumbled across the scene or not.
Yeah, I kind of had it in my head that you kind of all had come into that hallway and saw the ghost talking to Zanim and just froze. Like, don't like you were gonna start going that way, and Rix was all like,
Let her talk.
It's kind of how I saw it. You were all close enough to feel the temperature drop around Bruce when the words "dirty mark" came out at some point.
Why didn't we just ask her to let us into the room? Is that not how the magic works?
You okay? See?
Are we muted?
No, we heard you.
Oh.
You, Amy.
I said, yeah, I'm fine. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. What?
Okay.
What did it say? She
said that there was a dwarf who came through here with an aberrant dragon mark, who took the last of the green keys and went down one of the green hallways. She said it wasn't too long ago, but she also said she wasn't too good with time.
Dwarf. Wasn't one of the people from the Emerald Claw dwarf?
Well, the undead were dwarves, but I'm not sure if any of the members were.
Like, am I remembering correctly? Wasn't one of those a dwarf?
You are remembering correctly that
Okay.
Keltis Doran was a dwarf.
Yeah.
Well, shoot.
And then, the ghost felt me up a little bit and asked me questions about my mark. I mean, that's my life.
Every guy in every bar he's ever been to.
Not just guys.
So, we know that, we have a good idea that the Emerald Claw might have already been here, but...
Bruce kind of stands up, kind of like, sliding Guar off him.
Well, possibly.
I don't think they were here.
So what do you think it was?
Well, if she knew he had an aberrant mark, I doubt... Unless she can sense marks magically, then I imagine he was wearing it proudly, and that's not our Emerald Claw man.
That's a good point.
I'll
I think
check
it
in
might
in
be
the
time
next
to go
monthly
try another
meeting.
blue
though.
hallway and see if we can see if we can get any of the brown or green keys.
Well,
She was the captain of the guard and she had a brown key.
okay.
Did we try all of the rooms? Was there another one? No, there's no door right there, is there?
We could ascertain that brown keys might be associated with more of the security, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blue keys sounds like they might have just been more like
Administrative.
General.
In general, like a student ID.
Or what? Though there was that person, at least either maybe administrative or some sort of clerical work. I don't know, and so we don't know what the green keys did.
Well, the green keys, green means go. I suspect that a green key is going to lead us to what we need.
I say we take what we can find.
Hallway.
I see that.
Should we try to see where else we can go with the other keys? I mean, we have kind of pulls up the key charm. We have 4, 5 now.
I think everybody but me, Kiss has one now, so it's 5.
Yeah. So
yes, let's see what we can do with these blue keys, and most especially we want to find the green and the brown and see where we can go from there.
All right. So we can try the next. Hold on.
The next blue.
Yeah, the next blue, which is the northeastern key.
We have several blue keys. What would happen if we activated a couple at the same time?
It's worth checking out.
Also, I think your sister's still back in a room, so if we close this corridor, she might get a little annoyed.
Yeah, we'll obviously wait for Nyx to wake up. Just we need to figure out kind of a plan of what we're doing once she is waking up.
I'd say we should at least cycle through trying to open some of these doors so we don't waste time.
Do we want to? So can we leave her corridor open?
I'd say we start dicking around with this thing and find out.
Cora, do you want to go?
Rix is just gonna like. I would really like us to not potentially lock my sister up by herself.
What if it drops her to a different dimension or something? I'd rather.
Why doesn't somebody go get Nyx? I know she's resting. At least that's what I thought I heard. But let's go get her and bring her out here so we can all do this thing together, you know?
Were we gonna wait an hour though to let her have a short rest?
We can wait a little bit, can't we?
Sure, that's what we want to do. Actually, short rest before we go adventure. And she also said that the ghosts that we ran into down here at first would be back, and that they just weren't happy with other people here. So who knows? We could run into a whole bunch more angry ghosts. So any kind of short rest could be useful.
Well, if they can show back up, maybe we should get everyone back in this room, and then if they need to rest, they can rest here.
Sounds like a plan to me.
How do I tell him we hit die I have and send him a short rest? Oh, I have 1 left.
And then I told her about the morning, and she shut down.
I imagine that might be difficult to take in.
Oh, I spent a whole bunch of time going over the visions from her, and I saw a piece of parchment that was dated 19 days before the morning. So even if this wasn't actually the center of the morning, which still seems most likely to me, whatever they were doing here was around the same time. She died about the same time as the morning.
Maybe this was a prototype.
Could be.
It could.
Yeah.
Maybe it was to prevent the morning, but they didn't get it out in time.
All right. Rix is going to go wake up his sister. Which room did you go into, Nyx? That's the bathroom. Never mind. Wrong way. He's lost.
Bruce is gonna head down to one of the rooms and grab a mattress off the bed and drag it back down to hit the main room.
There she is.
Just Rick laying her neck.
lost track of where his sister was. like, he's checking all the rooms. He's like, oh, there she is. Alright, gently wakes up his sister, like kind of nudges her. Hey.
Alright. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's alright if you continue resting, but we're going to start checking what the other keys do, and we don't want to, potentially lock you in here forever.
So, Nix, you've been resting for about 10 minutes. You have achieved a full short rest.
What?
What?
Is it the beds?
It's the beds. It's a magic mattress, guys.
Like,
Do we
I'm
think we
actually
could wad
feeling-
one up and stick it in the back?
Towards the area.
One out to the main area.
Stick it in the bag of holding.
Ooh.
That's brilliant.
Oh, she now won.
Oh, come on. No, reroll that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Woo!
Heck yeah, girl, get it.
Alright,
That's better.
that's better.
Stick
So I
magic
heal
with
8.
it.
And you feel, well, as far as the short rest goes, you feel pretty good, having only been down for about 10 minutes.
Like, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's brilliant, but are you sure?
So, Bruce, as you're pulling a mattress off the bed, you notice that the frame of the bed itself, like the bathrooms, has been built out of the same stone as the wall. And it's kind of, the frame for the bed is there. It's almost like a raised stone platform that is embedded into the floor and the wall.
Okay. So I'll move him down to one of the rooms.
Like you grab the mattress off of it, you're like, huh, interesting, and you grab your mattress and continue moving on down to the hallway because Nix hasn't really explained the whole bed thing to everybody yet. So
Slides past the group holding a mattress.
hold on, let me find you a bed real quick to take down there with you. It's a bed.
And that's my last hit dice, so.
Oh man, we really need to get an actual real short rest. Like a long rest.
I wonder if we could take a long rest in like an hour down here.
It's worth. We could consider it. We could do watches still. But we have to.
Can you move the bed?
Nix is experiencing.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yes, in the fog cloud.
Well, I copied your fog cloud over, so if you want to go ahead and like the fluff is going to stay there, but
It's
actually you're right. I should just probably paste it to the map layer now because it's part of the layer now. Oh no, I put it behind everything. Oopsie.
So did you find out? Sorry.
Is everything alright?
Yeah, we're just gonna check the how long have you been asleep? It can't have been that long.
No, you'd know.
Oh, anyway.
I slept very well, and I feel like I have had a good. I don't know. I feel like I have had enough rest to have gotten back my key points and everything.
That's good to know. Should well, we're gonna try the different keys, so we didn't want to leave you behind.
Understand. I do have a key myself as well.
Yeah. So we're gonna try maybe putting 2 keys at once and seeing what happens.
Understand.
All right, let's go. Jaderia coming?
Yeah.
Kiz, you good?
Does anyone else need a? So.
I think Bruce is bringing one of the beds down there. Just in case.
I kind of saw that.
Yeah, it's hard to miss, huh?
And currently, she's an old woman.
Yeah. He's like, Rix knows it's her, so he's like not that phased about like her ability to move. The other people, when they look at her, they might be like, "Oh, are you okay, Granny?"
Okay. You guys all enter the spherical chamber. Everybody kind of notices that Nyx looks good. She looks ready to go.
Does she still look beat up?
And she still looks pretty beat up. I mean, she's not gonna lie. She's been beat up, but she doesn't look as bedraggled as she did before she laid down.
I did get a pretty good rest. I don't know if anyone else, if we should, hold back and do another good rest. I don't know if it was kind of like the catnap potion that was extra whatever.
Maybe
Yeah, judging by thinking back to that, you think, that is kind of what it like. Not nearly as potent or as strong, but definitely a very familiar feeling for you.
Do you think it's this place?
I did get into a bed.
They did have a faint magic to it. I guess I thought it was just the bed making spell. And Pipes would have loved to have had that spell. I always got so annoyed.
Do we want to try maybe getting some rest then, if it feels like it might not take quite so long?
Bruce shrugs.
Sure, a rest sounds great.
Alright. I would like to rest, DM.
Okay.
Are we going back to the beds?
Idea.
Or do we want to bring 4 mattresses to the center area and take shifts?
Well, but I mean, when I was looking around with the detect magic on, some of the magic is embedded into the stonework.
Yeah, the bed frames are made of stone and built into the building itself.
So is it more likely that it is the beds than the mattresses?
Yeah, it's looking like it. Alright, I mean, we could do shifts just in case. It would make us feel better. I mean, like.
So we want to try doing. How long has it been since our last full rest, though? I mean, I don't know if.
Kind of in the
4 days.
Define full rest.
So we're gonna just try a cat nap and see what it gets us.
When we use the key charm on the next blue lock, it closed the old one, right? Automatically?
Yes.
Do we think it's because we use the same key? Or do you think if we tried a different key on a different blue one, the one would stay open? Or just only one hallway can be open at a time?
I'm curious if we can open them all at once.
I was just assuming we could only open one at a time, but that's just an assumption.
Bruce is gonna step over here. Why don't you guys try closing it? I want to see what's on the other side of this. If we're really locked in.
Have a sending stone. Have a sending stone on you.
Rex passes you his sending stone. Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case. It's for Cherry.
Thank you.
I just want to find out if we can be locked in.
Even as we can also test to see, like, since we have multiple keys, if we can open multiple at the same time.
I think that's kind of what we were starting to move toward checking, to be honest.
Okay.
So. All right.
Okay.
Rex goes over to this one. He's like, "I'll turn the key for this one, the northeastern one."
You want me to try at the same time this one?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. I mean, the key is still inside the northwestern one, right?
No, you guys have to. You guys remove the keys every time.
Okay, that's right. But we unlocked it, but then we took the key out, and then. All right, so Rix takes his key and he puts it into this northeastern one, and turns it.
Okay. Nyx, as you go and try and insert your key into the gem that you've chosen, it doesn't. There's no lock hole that reveals itself. And the lights fade, and the wall shifts. And now I need to do some fun things.
Welcome.
Sorry, Mike.
Cool.
I mean,
We split the party, guys. That's exciting.
we split the party for real.
The brew stayed on one side of the wall.
But I think we left that one. We weren't locking it up again.
Oh, but I couldn't open the lock for the new one.
I'm guessing
So-
that only one lock can be open at a time, so each time you try to open it, it closes the old one and opens the new one.
Okay.
Correct. Only one lock.
Which is
can
what-
open at a time.
Which is kind of what Bruce is checking in to see if, in doing so, if the other person is locked on that side and they can't get out.
But you've got a key, so theoretically, it might let you out.
That's what he's checking.
Okay. So as Rick sticks his key in, begins to turn it, Nyx is trying to move her key to angle at the same time. Like, she tries to put it in the gem, just like her key passes straight through the gem. Like, there's no keyhole to appear, it just kind of passes through like like the holographic it normally looks like. And the lights flicker and dim. And before the lights even come up, you smell something burning
Oh no.
as you guys transition to a new location on the map. However,
Yes.
Jared, unfortunately,
That's a fireball.
Jared will stay on the map that he's on.
That's a fireball.
I need you guys to roll initiative.
Cool.
Okay,
Guess where our
cool.
tank is?
Yeah! Who thought this one out?
Hey, look. It's fair.
You got Cherry's standing right next to another one of the orbs. She could just quickly.
Oh, I didn't have my character.
Hey!
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit initiative twice.
Oh, you're not using the turn tracker in Roll20 anyway, right? So it doesn't matter we didn't click our character.
No, yeah, I'm not using that one there.
Sure. It's like it didn't.
This combat is brought to you by Roll20 and 2-minute tabletop icons.
Yay!
I appreciate that. It's good of you for doing it.
We're not officially affiliated with either, but we appreciate the assets they allow us to have access to.
Yeah.
Please
And
support the
D&D
official
Beyond.
content.
Okay.
D&D Beyond.
Let's
My
see.
initiative is
Israel,
dope.
initiative.
Who?
You
Israel.
kids.
18.
Z, your initiative.
2.
Oh.
Cherry, your initiative.
12.
Rick, your initiative.
23.
Nyx, your initiative.
18!
Bruce,
Sorry.
your initiative.
Who'd you say?
His?
Bruce.
Bruce, your initiative.
Oh, I didn't roll initiative. I didn't think I was part of this. Natural 20.
Well, Rick's also got a natural 20.
Yeah, we both got now 20s.
Bruce is so ready. Let's do this.
Don't look
And
at a
it's a
wall.
He's like, okay, guys, I'm ready. I'm ready. Guys.
Okay. You just have to hope that that thing rolled bad.
Eight!
Hey! Thank heavens.
Ooh, got a 14 on the auto roller. I just wanted you guys to see what it was. Okay. So, as you look down, you see this glowing, swirling, massive orb of fire just kind of floating in the middle. Those rugs, I don't have the details on it, unfortunately. look like they've been burned and singed, and they've got black marks traced around it, almost like this ball of fire has been controlling up and down these halls. Rix, you are first in this combat.
So I have a question for the DM. I know that it was my key that turned that, right? If I turn the key again, will it lock the door?
You haven't tried that before.
Okay. But it would be an action to do so, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So when you stick the key in and turn it, the gem itself, you release the mechanism, whatever is holding it, it starts to turn the room, and then the key in your hand kind of passes through it, like as if it was just a hologram. But that initial, you get it in the lock, you turn it, and then it gives way and you pass through. So you have to essentially stick it back into the keyhole and turn again.
Okay, so this is what he's going to do. I'm going to use my free action to turn to Nyx and be like, turn the key if this doesn't work. And so he is going to try to put the key back in. He's going to put the key back in, and he's going to try to turn it to see if it'll close the door. Or to close it.
Nothing happens.
Cool. It's just what I wanted. But that's all that he could do, so that I could think of him doing. So yeah, no, that's the end of my turn.
Bruce, you find yourself looking at the outside of a sphere, a wall right in front of you. It kind of has rolled or moved and has landed in front of you. On it, there is a blue gem that looks very familiar.
You know what? It's an elevator. Maybe you can summon it back.
Poke?
You stick the key into the gem and turn it.
Sure.
You are all out of initiative order.
It overrode it. Can you imagine, like, bumping into your coworkers and like, I was trying to go in this doorway, man.
The lights dim, the fire disappears, the room rotates on Bruce. Bruce, you got your key in your hand, just, Everybody in the room looks like ready for battle, like...
Bruce is like, yeah, so there's a thing on this side too, so you can't really lock somebody in here.
Oh!
We made that a fire thing.
What?
Thankfully, you saved us from a fire thing.
Fireball thing. Flaming sphere-ish thing.
Patrolling the holes.
It's what I do.
We're just rolling an insight check right now?
Bruce is just confused.
Not even a bother. Yeah, not sure what happened there. Okay. What would you guys like to do now?
Well, do we want to try a different blue door, or do we want to brave that door?
Or do we want to take a rest? See if it'll give us a full rest? Like, that's what full... I don't know.
It's true.
I think a rest sounds like a really good idea. Let's do that, and then we can keep exploring blue doors and hope we can find other keys.
Well, it's like the two more.
Yes. But, you know, personally, I'm a fan of going into this crazy business not feeling like crap.
Cool.
Yes.
So what was in the hallway you opened?
Fireball.
Do we think it was a
fire of something? We don't know. It might be a living spell. That's my suspicion.
Okay. I mean, I just assumed since we were testing something, you guys would have gone back to the room we had already gone to, but okay. So,
What are you guys doing?
How do we want to do the rest? Does Nix want to take first watch since she just
Yeah,
had
I
a
can
cat
take a
nap?
watch.
If we
Well, do
put
we
the key
think-
in the lock and not turn it, will it lock here?
No, you have one.
Let's try it.
Okay. So I'm gonna do that. Just stick my key charm in the lock for this area and just leave it.
After about 6 seconds,
It goes
the gem releases and the key falls.
Oh.
I mean, it's so you don't hog the elevator.
I don't think it's an elevator. It like spins.
Is it a spinnovator then?
I don't know what that is. So, anyways, do we think we're gonna be able to get more than like, a hour-long rest with any comfort? Because that's not gonna do me a lot of good.
Me neither.
So
I mean, we could try to see what an hour-long rest could do. I mean, unless you would rather just move on.
I mean, if we want to try to rest for however long.
I mean, it's all about this place is all about us experimenting with whatever Kenneth has come up with. It feels like. And then with the Moorland, we don't know what's going to happen until we try it.
Thing is with even if I did a long rest right now, it wouldn't make a difference unless it was that we've been the long rest like we have been doing. It wouldn't make a difference for me right now. But if we can get a full one, a normal one.
Okay, do you feel less injured? Did you heal?
A little.
Then it is the healing is working here better than it was
No,
outside.
we had the same thing with the...
There's a difference between healing magic and taking a little bit of a rest.
But we've had this work. We've had the short rest work for healing a little bit. But we haven't had it.
Yeah, but at least some of the short rests we took inside of the rope trick in order to get the healing to bypass the Moorland.
Not for a short rest, that was just for healing spells.
I guess we're remembering this differently. I remember doing a short rest in the tree.
Well, we did it, but I used healing spells in there to heal people. That was the only place
And
that
then
we
Rick
could use
took
healing.
a short rest
So that I could get my spell slot back.
could
My
regain
one
his
slot.
slot. But hit dice were spent. Hit dice have not been really affected outside of when you
Bruce-
use them to regain for short rests.
Yeah, Bruce got
Problem
some
is,
back
you
from
guys
using his magic.
Still haven't figured out how to recover them yet.
No, we have not. All right.
Well, why don't the people who are the most injured, we just split into two groups. One group takes an hour nap. If you happen to feel super refreshed, the other half will take the nap. And then we'll move on. Zanim, to bed.
Guess what? You're the number 3rd worst hurt. Other than I don't know.
I think I'm all right.
I might suggest that you Nix sleep anyway, since not having any hit die left doesn't really mean anything to Nix or to Giz.
Yeah, Rex will look at Kiz and Zanim and Nix and be like, I think you 3 should probably rest a bit first.
Fine. All right.
I mean, an hour isn't going to destroy the world, right?
Who knows?
I'm pretty sure it will.
Jinx.
Never mind.
But we are what we have.
Thank you, Kenneth, person who died 20 years ago, for letting me use your bed.
Tix just goes back to bed, like, whatever.
Rix looks at Jalera and be like, "Do you want to play some cards?"
Yeah. Do you have cards?
Yeah, I have cards. I think I should have. I might have cards. Let me double check.
Z, which room are you in? Oh,
I do. We'll play cards.
I'm gonna set my
Z,
spell
the mattress from that room has been taken out.
Rip.
Why did I have popcorn this morning?
Oh man. No. Rix has a playing
You poke
card
your head
set
in that
though.
room, you see the body on the floor, you're like, nope. Move on into the other room. I have lost audio on Zanim as well as video. If that's
Yeah, I've lost video on her.
I had to reconnect. I have video on her now.
Oh, okay. I'll just refresh it.
Yeah. Sorry, my internet connection was going funky, and so I know that was all me.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
There we go.
You three lay down to rest.
Yeah. Rix and Jalera are gonna play
Bruce,
cards.
are you laying down to rest too?
He's just kind of lying down on the mattress. He might take the equivalent of a short rest while seeing if they're taking a long rest.
Okay. Okay. Rix, Jalera. I need each of you to roll me an initiative.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, because we're playing a card game, that's why.
You hope that's why.
Uh-huh.
She goes first.
Okay. Okay. So, Jalera and Rix, can you each whisper roll me a d20?
How do you do the whisper again?
/ W.
Then Mike, and then I don't know how to roll from that.
GM.
Or maybe you can you like /GM me like through that? Like
So you can do a / roll ROLGM. I think that's what it is.
oh / okay /roll GM.
I don't remember. I have to. There was something.
I didn't.
Oh wait, yes. GM roll 1d20 / GM roll space 1d20.
Perfect.
There was an error in your formula.
This is so good. There's a post on Twitter that is so good. I'm sticking watermark on it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Jalera. Roll me. But I want to do this. Pretty good. Jalera, roll me a deception check. Rix, roll me an insight check.
Should I have whispered that?
No, that's good. That's
No.
How it is.
No.
So Cherry, as you go first, you're like, I've got this. And you're like, you're trying to bluff your way through it, like, yeah, I got this. And Rix is just like, no, you don't.
He just
You
looks
both put down your cards. You both put down your cards. You both have 4s.
He looks at you and he's like, "Ooh, we gotta work on your poker face."
Okay, now roll me each again a d20 to me. Each of you roll a d20 to me.
Okay.
Okay. Now we'll reverse it. Rix, roll me a deception check. Julia, roll me a insight check.
That better be a dang good insight.
You're like, Nah, Rix doesn't have it. He does. I totally have this round. You put down your card. Rix just kind of drops his card. You had put down a 12, Jalira. Rix just kind of drops a 20 card right down on top of it, like, sorry.
Cruz is sitting over there stroking Guara and just quietly mutters to her, "This is the weirdest game of Go Fish I've ever seen." I don't think either of them know the rules.
You guys proceed to play back and forth.
Just having fun.
Yeah,
She's just having fun.
It's like he's giving her occasional tips on how to hide what she's saying and points out her tells. He's like, yeah, you do that like a lot, you kind of smirk just a little bit when you feel like you have a good card. You might want to work on your facial muscles and getting those a little more under control. At least when it comes to this. Otherwise, you do you.
Okay. After that, after about 10 minutes, Nyx, Zanine, Kiz, you find yourselves kind of waking up. You're 10 minutes in, you're just kind of you find yourselves a little bit restless in bed, as if for taking a short rest wise, you're not going to gain any more. Zanine just kind of makes herself roll over and sleep a little bit longer. After about an hour, you all kind of give up on a heavy sleep, because it has not been enough time since your last long rest for you to gain any benefits of a long rest. After about an hour, you kind of find yourselves, okay, I think I'm done with this. Z is still asleep. She kind of managed to think herself hard enough to sleep. You kind of pretty much end up feeling that you could get, regular sleep in the bed, but for, a quick nap, kind of refresh and wake up a little bit faster, the beds are more designed for that. Man, I had this awesome planning thing that I want to do. I just need to take a quick nap. You just kind of take a quick nap, kind of refreshes your brain, wakes you up a little bit. Nyx walks past in these rooms. He's just like...
Healing magic doesn't work in this area that we know of, right?
We determined that the good berries had no effect,
yeah. Do I get the hit die?
Yes, you can spend a hit die.
Alright, am I missing?
And because
I'm not finding Kiz.
Kiz has already left.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, okay.
I was all like, I'm done. I'm restless.
Anybody gonna wake up Zanine?
Brooks sees Kiz and he's like, where's...
Nope.
And he sees Nyx approaching. Is Zanine still sleeping?
Yes. She was sleeping in her room.
Zanine.
I couldn't sleep.
Something terrible happened.
Oh, you did already took a nap.
Is that freaking ghost gonna show up in my dreams?
Possess her.
Do me a favor.
Oh no. Oh,
it's gonna be the pottery scene from
Ghost?
Ah.
Someone start playing Unchained Melody.
I need you to roll me a charisma saving throw.
Is this gonna be our first real in-depth
disadvantage?
Because she's asleep. Rip!
Yay for advantage!
Is it advantage or disadvantage, Mike?
It's disadvantage. It was not with advantage.
Disadvantage?
Yeah.
Well, dang. I heard you wrong.
Zanine isn't home right now.
Do me a favor. Roll me a percentile die.
Roll 8d6.
Okay. You find yourself, while you're kind of resting and sleeping and getting the rest you need, dreaming, kind of reflecting on, that first kind of thought was you were kind of falling asleep. You kind of felt that tracing on your dragon mark like you do. So you kind of fell asleep thinking about dragon marks. You thought about your dragon mark. And then your dreams kind of naturally turned towards Ruse's dragon mark.
Oh no.
Kizriel's dragon mark and Nyx's dragon mark.
And Rix's dragon mark. What?
No.
He's got enough on his plate.
He does not need an aberrant dragon mark to add to that. His sister's got enough already on her plate.
You're kind of thinking about them as you're sleeping. You're seeing images of having seen all of the marks, at separate times. You're kind of comparing in your dreams how Kiz's mark has grown into a full mark, and how you're happy for all the marks because they're your family, and you don't want to be like, oh gosh, I don't like that person anymore because of this aberrant mark. You've like, Bruce is your brother. He's always going to be your brother, and part of you is like, his mark is actually really cool. Like, it's Nyx's mark is like, whoa, super cool, super in trouble. Like, bad things are going to happen, but super cool. And as you're kind of dreaming these things, you have the sense that somebody else is there dreaming with you. In your dream, you kind of look around, you don't see anything at first, you're kind of in your dream, like, you just have this feeling that you're being watched.
Okay.
And then after about a few more minutes after that hour of when everybody else kind of gave up and walked down, your body starts feeling cold, like, and it's enough of a cold to kind of wake you up in kind of a cold sweat as you kind of sit up, like, with the distinct impression that something was watching you while you were sleeping. And you kind of catch the wispy tail end of a cloak passing through the wall back towards the other direction.
That's pretty creepy.
Well, that's it. She's obsessed with me.
Oh man.
Z rolls her eyes, gets up, wanders back out to the main room with everybody else.
Once you go orc.
So you get
What?
about there.
Kiz agrees.
You get about there, and the ghost appears in front of you.
I am perfectly happy to talk to you, but checking me out while I'm sleeping's a little weird.
Would you have told me about the aberrant marks in the party if I had asked?
Well, considering that you talked about the dwarf with the dirty mark, probably not. One of those marks appeared when we touched when we were near the schema, and marks appeared on other of my friends with the advent, or with the intervention of the schema. I don't know what's up with Bruce. I think it's because he's half elf, half orc. Who knows what's going on there? But no, their marks are.
Anybody else, loser?
I've lost audio on Z, yes.
Yeah, she was kind of going robotic for me for a little bit, and she's frozen completely now.
Also, from crinkly bags, can we move things from crinkly bags to like a bowl so it doesn't crinkle? Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
It's all good, guys.
I didn't realize it was that loud.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
don't always hear it. Let us know.
Okay.
Also, if Minho's barking and we failed to notice, please also let us know that.
No, everything's been so good so far. Like, I think that's the first one I've noticed, but it might also be that Amy's audio cutting in and out like made me hyper aware that there were other sounds. Zanim's back, video wise. I don't hear her sound wise.
She can't logged out. She hasn't logged back in yet.
Okay.
We're just gonna say, for plot reasons, that mid-sentence the ghost possessed her. And
It's gonna go and try and kill aberrant marks.
Okay, let's try this again. How much of what I said made it through?
Okay, so and
back to this point. You had just told her that, you know, we had talked about a dwarf with dirty marks, and then you had said that the marks appeared when you guys were near the schema, and that Bruce had already had one, but that's probably because he's half orc, half elf, is where you were going, I think.
That is where I was going. Sorry. I don't remember what I said after that. Oh. So their marks are their business and not mine. Not my information to share.
Well?
Did we hear her talking from down the hall?
She's kind of whispering in front of Z. She's trying to make it not apparent that she's, like, loud there.
I mean, do we hear Z talking down the hall?
Probably by now, I would think. I mean, you're way far down.
Z's not trying to be quiet, but Z's also not yelling. She's just talking normal volume, but it's not like Z's like, Aberrant Marks and Bruce and Nix and Just having a normal conversation.
I mean, the other wouldn't be abnormal for... Never mind.
It's true. Still.
So I'm able to hear?
I must regretfully tell you that the thing which you seek most is the direction that you shouldn't go most.
Is that simply because the people with aberrant marks shouldn't go down there? Would we be safer if we separated temporarily to go after the schema and left our friends with the aberrant mark elsewhere until we had collected things?
There are parts of this facility that are not kind to those who have those kinds of marks.
I do recall items in Blackhearth.
She kind of fades through the walls.
Is everything okay?
Z shrugs. Ghosty chick was talking to me was checking me out in my dreams, and I think she was making me think about and dream about dragon marks. She's now aware that you two have aberrant marks, and she was pointing out that parts of this facility are specifically designed to be mean to you.
Like that dog at Blackhearth?
Not surprising.
Like the dogs at Blackhearth. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There are things specifically designed to make things really hard on Bruce and Nixon getting them through. So I think that this is where we need to sit down and figure out whether it's best to leave them here so that they can avoid the things that are specifically designed to kill them, or whether we want to risk that, because I'm not sure we do, but I'm also not overly fond of the idea of splitting up and leaving them here in this room. So, thoughts?
I don't think there's a discussion to be had. We're going.
But what if something happens?
So the facility can kill you? I don't think that that's just a blanket, woohoo, this is how it's going.
I'm sorry, what part of this facility has been friendly to anyone right now?
The bathroom.
Well, we just got bags, and we played with toilets, and we got naps. I mean, that's been pretty nice.
What were you doing with the toilet?
You were playing with the toilet. Not me. You.
Anyway, it's not like this place is a safe thing that if we just wait here, the rest of you are going to walk through scot-free. Didn't you say there was like a fireball in the next room?
Yeah. A ball of fire.
I'm sorry, was that going to let you guys walk right by it if Nyx wasn't there?
I don't know, but maybe.
No. We're all going.
Is that really the best option?
Yes.
I don't hear
No.
Nick saying anything one way or the other.
Will you let us at least at times try and take precautions?
Isn't that what we've been trying to do the whole time?
That's true. But now that we know to look for it specifically, like, we can always have one of us go first.
Oh, you mean keep Bruce at the back? That should go really well. He's very good at listening to things like that.
Oh, here it is.
We can cover the flank.
Here it is. It's your moment, Z. It's your moment.
It's my moment to what?
Oh my shit. Never mind. Don't worry about it. It was stuff that happened last game.
Does that mean that I get to go in the front and you have to stay at the back? Am I taking point now? Can we agree on that, or does something else need to happen here?
Bruce is just watching her like she's almost speaking a different language. He's not sure what she's trying to convey. Like, I don't know how you think this changes anything because your ghost girlfriend thinks that this place could be bad for some of us.
Specifically, you and Nyx, because of your marks. So maybe we'll have a whole lot easier time and actually be able to recover the things and save pipes and get the schema and save the world if you guys just chill out here. And maybe we all die if you come with us.
Can I say something?
Of course.
I do have the ability to hide Bruce's mark. And my mark is hiding itself.
But remember the dog.
The dog didn't like you before your mark manifested.
I know.
Yeah, no, but she didn't. It was her. We don't know for sure what's going on. And that was before she could learn how to hide it. Okay? I just want to point that out. And the dogs, we understand the dogs were able to find aberrant marks, but that was before Nyx could figure out how to hide it. And she had the ability to do so, before she even knew she had a mark. So we can't completely use the idea of the dogs as the Kenneth is going to know no matter what.
But she didn't know she had a mark, and they still didn't like her.
Yes, because she wasn't knowingly hiding it. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying I'm not going to make the decision for everyone else, but I'm saying that if we split up,
It'll be worse.
It would be worse. We're always much stronger when we're all together.
Okay. If that is how we want to play things, then that's fine. We just...
Seek has given us the tools to get through this. That's the name, right?
Yes.
Thank you, thing on her face.
Okay.
Well,
then.
Not Rex.
It is a possibility, but I think if you were to go without Bruce and I, if you guys were to go without us, that would leave you 5 in a much riskier situation. We're the ones that are meant to take more of the hits.
Yeah, I can't take the same sort of damage they can. I can hit, but I can't take that damage.
We've already got problems with the whole fact that we can't heal and anymore, and there's a lot of things going on, but it might not be the best idea to split. And we can try and see if we can use the powers that we have to hopefully get past all of this.
Vix turns to Zanim. It's like, we know you're worried.
Well, I think we should all be worried.
We are.
Yeah.
And not just about this. I mean, you know, this whole place, this whole mission that we're on isn't exactly fun and dancing.
It's not.
But if this is how everybody feels, then I'll be fine with it. I just wanted to, you know.
We'll play it extra careful. How about that?
That
They're
sounds
looking
good.
out for us.
Okay. So as you guys kind of determine that we'll play it careful, but we're not going to necessarily split the party at this time, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this session here.
All right.
I know Erin's got a place she's got to be. So we're going to go ahead and end our stream. Thank you guys for watching us. We're having a great time. And we look forward to our next, we won't be live next week again. We're going to do another recorded session. But after that, we should resume our normally scheduled live stream event. Thank you so much.